Hi, welcome back to the Cardsmiths, and we've got some more Legend of the Five Rings LCG for you today. So, if you've been following the series and perhaps you've been playing with your own core sets and you've been enjoying the game, but maybe you've really been enjoying the game and you want to delve a little deeper. So, each one of these packs will add a lot of customization and just a lot of replayability in terms of the deck building options that they present, and yeah, they really add a lot to the game. So, what do you have to say about the packs?
Yeah, so this is the first one that was released from the first cycle of the game. If you want to play this game competitively, it will no longer be valid for competitive play probably November, December of this year, which is 2020. And that's just because as soon as a pack is released from the fifth cycle of the game, the first two cycles will no longer be in rotation. So if you're looking to play competitively, just getting into the game, this might not be for you. But if you're just picking up this game, you play it with your friends, you want to expand your card pool, this is probably a great pack to pick up because most retailers have it on sale, and you should be able to secure a good sale price as the demand for this product will be going down in the near future.
Yeah, and it already has. We've been fortunate enough to get some good deals on some of these packs from the first cycle because just knowing rotations on the way, like Hal said, not as much demand. So if you're a bit more of a casual player, this is a great way to expand your collection at a reduced price.
All right, so what we're going to do in this video is we're going to look at the four neutral cards that come in this pack, and we're going to discuss them. So let's start with a province. It's a 3 strength province, and that's Blood of Omnitangu. It has the Shrine trait, and it's for Seeker role only.
Yeah, so instantly, even without getting into what this does, I like that they're really expanding on the at least the seeker role. I imagine the keeper role as well here, but so far we've seen the seeker role, and that this province is already going to add a lot of options. Because then, do I want to take the seeker role so that I have access to this province, or maybe we'll get to the other one after, but maybe you want to go keeper for other reasons, and this is just already immediately adding a lot to the game. So let's see what it does. It has the text, during conflicts at this province, each player cannot spend fate from his or her fate pool. And it has a province strength of 3.
It's okay. I mean, there are lots of events that are 0 cost, so it's not as if you push your defenders in, count the math, and know you're going to win. It ensures they can't play units. I don't think
characters,
or I don't think there's any 0 cost conflict deck characters that I'm aware of, at least in the core set.
Not to my knowledge. Perhaps further into this pack it's possible, but my guess would be probably not even.
And you can't play costed events. You can still play your 0 cost attachments. You can still play your 0 cost events.
Which the Katanas and the Ornate Fans are such staples of the conflict decks already that it's not damaging that in any way. An interesting part about it, not a nice part necessarily, is that it's each player, so it's yourself as well, but you have the advantage in the sense that you know where this province is, and you know you're playing with it, so perhaps your conflict deck is built of more just 0 cost cards, which I imagine it would be if you're using this. But yeah, I don't know. At a province strength of 3, I'm not sure about this one. It is a fire province, which is important to note that we haven't mentioned yet. So it's going to be competing with the Night Raid and the Meditations on the Tau out of the core set. So
I don't see why you would pick this province over those two.
I mean,
because those are both filling roles in which they're significantly helping you if you come up against a specific deck archetype. The Night Raid's helping you against being swarmed, and the Meditations on the Tau is helping you against decks with big characters or characters with a lot of fate on them. And this isn't doing either.
Yeah, this is blocking you from the big ones. It's blocking you from are the ones that move your characters out of conflict. So it's blocking you from the outwits, the routes, which both cost 1, and it's blocking characters from being ambushed in.
At 3 strength, is that good enough though?
I don't know. This is my initial impression is actually maybe not, but I certainly want to try this out and at least see. Sometimes a card doesn't look great, and then once you see it in action, it's a little better. So I want to give it a try at least and see what I think. But my initial impression is that I think Meditations on the Tau. I like Night Raid as well, but I don't know. Both of them are doing good things.
Both of them, on initial impression, far eclipsed this card. And my initial impression of those 2 provinces was correct, that they were good provinces. My initial impression of this province is that it's not very usable.
Yeah, the biggest problem is the 3, because the other ones that are at 3 are
doing significant effects.
Like Shameful Display is arguably the best province, and that's at 3. And yeah, it's not competing for that slot because that's a
the Art of
province,
War.
But the Art of War is a 3, and
it lets you draw 3 cards,
which is really significant because that's essentially the cost of 3 honor, really, that you would spend, or not spend, but give to your opponent.
On top of the fact that it's already, I just don't like this. It's also restricted. It's Seeker roll only. So half of your decks, in theory, assuming you take Keeper and Seeker 50-50,
which I don't think is the case. I think Seeker out of the core set is a little better.
Yeah, but I mean, you're just not gonna be able to take this sometimes. On top of it already not being compelling, I don't like this province. Maybe I'm wrong, but.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that as the card pool expands and I think it can become better.
But the fact is there's cards in the card pool that are 0 cost cards. There's 0 cost cards that already change the math of what's happening in a battle, and they change the math significantly. And those cards are cards in the core set. They're always going to be in the card pool, and they're always going to be good cards because they're costed at 0, so they're going to get taken.
Yeah, but they're not necessarily going to get taken once you get to 4 cycles in, and you're not going to see. They still absolutely might and probably will, but they're not going to be as prominent. You're going to see a wider variety of different cards.
You are, but when cards are very strong 0 costed cards, they're going to continue to show up, and I don't really like that province.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, we'll have to see it in action, but I agree. I don't think it's at the level of the other 2 that it's competing in a fire slot with. So we got another province here, which is really nice, and yeah, this, as you might expect, actually named after the pack itself. So we get the card here, and that's the Tears of Amaterasu. It is a 4 strength province, so already a little higher strength than the Blood of Omnitangu, and this one also with the Shrine trait, so we'll see if that becomes relevant further into the card pool. And this one is Keeper roll only.
Reaction after this province is revealed, so it's keeping with those void effects of one-time
effects. That's water, actually.
Oh,
because it's rally to the cause, and what's the other?
The one flips the conflict type, and the one flips the ring type.
Oh, right. Elemental Fury.
Yeah. So, sorry, what are the void ones then?
Void is Pilgrimage and Shameful Display.
Okay. So very strong ones it's competing against.
Yeah.
but this is a very strong province. It's a one-time effect, but this could gain you a lot of fade.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's when revealed effect.
That is the downside to the card, because you could, like, you don't have any control of what your opponent does, and if they, send in their cautious scout or something, send in their one-cost unit.
Well, it doesn't even matter the cost; it just matters the number.
Just send in their single unit, and now you've wasted your void province on this. But on the other hand, you go up against Unicorn, and they stumble into this, and suddenly you're way ahead in the game.
Yeah, the problem being that even with Unicorn, where they have their stronghold adding stuff and they have effects that are adding characters like during the battle, even Unicorn is really only declaring usually probably 2 attackers. They might be adding another one during the battle and like with their mobility effects, but
the best case scenario is Lion, actually.
The best case scenario is Lion, where if Lion attacks with like
3, 4.
Yeah, even 2 if it's the first turn and you can get an early fade advantage on them, that's quite good.
But is it as good as having Shameful Display go off multiple times over the course of the game? Or having Pilgrimage negate a ring multiple times over the course of the game? I
don't think it is the blunt answer. Is that
I think it would be competitive with the quality of those provinces if it wasn't a one-time effect.
It would be too good if it was.
But your opponent can play around it at that point.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It's just okay. My issue with the when revealed provinces is that
there's no incentive to not attack them after that happens.
Like, how many times have we seen Rally to the Cause flipped, and like, it's really very sucks when it flips.
And then it's a free province to go at.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, okay, I don't even have to risk going in a face down. Like, nothing bad's gonna happen when I head at this one. And then it's like Shameful Display. Like, I mean, it's once per turn, but it's like each turn you go at that. Like, I mean, you're probably not even going at that because it's too devastating. You might just go on another one, or depending on the board state, you might assess whether it's safe to do so at a certain point. But
and Pilgrimage has better strength and is a better province.
Yeah, I like Pilgrimage and Unicorn in that they can't really defend very well, and you get a 5 strength.
Crab.
Yeah, Pilgrimage has its place, I think. Actually with Crab, yeah, because Crab you don't want the Shameful Display.
And like Crab, you're fine defending and slightly losing if you're negating the ring effect.
Yeah,
because there's no real cost at that point.
Yeah, I agree. I think Pilgrimage has its place, like Crab and Unicorn, kind of. And then, yeah, I don't know. I want to like this. And
the problem is that it's a void province. If this was a water province, which was my initial thought, the when revealed.
Because when you saw the when revealed, yeah, you would assume.
Then I would be okay with this because it's filling the same niche and it's doing an interesting thing that could be really good.
Yeah, like it's competing with like the flipping the conflict type, and it's like, okay, like maybe I value a bit more of a fate gain over that perhaps. And I mean, the artwork is beautiful. It's a really nice card, but yeah, I think it's got the problem of being a void province, and I think it's gonna be a hard one to include.
I like it more than Blood of Omnitangu, but I don't see it making the cut a lot. The thing is, knowing that it's in the meta is gonna maybe make you think for a few seconds before sending an attack of 5 guys at an unrevealed province. But
my argument is you should already be thinking about that because of Night Raid anyways. So
yeah, that's a fair point.
I actually think that this is a nice one, like further on in the game. Maybe you're using this and yeah, people don't expect it, and like that could get a great amount of fade out.
Neither of these provinces are blowing me away at all.
I like the second one more than the first one. I definitely think it's interesting. I think its problem really is that it's a void province, I think.
Yeah. Agreed. And even if you're keeper of Void, or even if you're Seeker of Void, and you're allowed to take 2, even out of the core, you're probably taking Pilgrimage. And even out of the core in this, you're probably taking Pilgrimage and Shameful Display.
Well, you couldn't take this one because this is keeper roll only.
Oh, right, that's really interesting. So this in theory is supposed to be as good as those because you're supposed to be enticed to take it.
Yeah. Which I mean,
I don't really know what the designers were thinking there.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like if it gains you 3 fate on like the first or second turn, that could win you a game. But
I'm not convinced. And that would be a really lucky situation.
Yeah, where they attack with 3.
And hit that. Like, it's a 25% chance.
The thing is, like, I think that it's... Okay, it begs the question of whether a fate or a conflict card is more valuable in terms of whether this is better than Night Raid, if you're comparing those two. And I think that the answer is that a card is a little bit more valuable.
Because you have to pay honor for it.
Yeah. So then even in that comparison...
Well, and the maximum amount of cards you can accrue in a turn is 5. Barring tricks. The maximum amount of fate you can accrue in a turn, barring tricks, is 7.
And that's
so
not
that
even to
tell you what's more valuable.
Yeah, and that's not even to mention the fate that were on unclaimed rings from the previous turn, passing first,
and that's not to mention no one's dialing 5.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't happen too often. Scorpion games maybe.
All right. To the first of the 2 conflict deck cards, neutral. And we've got a 2-cost character. So Goblin Sneak. Goblin Shadowlands traded.
So yeah, maybe you've been enjoying using you've been enjoying the theme of the different clans, and now we get a little taste of the Shadowlands here. So the Goblin Sneak, like Hal said, 2-cost, 1 military strength, no political, as you might expect. He's not going to be going to the courts.
Yeah, no one's going to mistake this guy for a human.
Yeah, there's a couple giveaways there. So no, he's only going to be useful in military conflicts. But he does have a really interesting reaction, which is after this character enters play, place 1 fate from an opponent's fate pool on it.
It's an interesting card. This is obviously not a card that's like impacting the conflict when you play him into it. This is a card where you say, I have more fate than my opponent. I see they've got 1 or 2 left as we're going into the battle. I want to ensure they can't play some sort of 1-costed event, 1 2-costed character.
So I would argue it is impacting the conflict
but you don't actually know that they have that in their hand.
The thing is though, this isn't an uncommon situation that it's the middle of like the conflicts and someone's sitting there with like 1 fate left, and that 1 fate permits them like access to so many cards like Outwit, Route, and everything, and like this can straight up just completely disrupt that. And it's coming as a surprise, ambushing out of your hand.
Yeah, I think you're only allowed 9 characters in your conflict deck though.
Yeah.
So is this in the top? You have 9 slots, are you taking this?
The other thing is that like not only are you taking the fate from your opponent, but it is going on this. And yeah, like it's not great, but having another character on the next turn is never a bad thing.
Oh yeah, no, I mean you can send him to scout a province or something.
Yeah, I mean literally not whatever you want, because he's not going in political challenges, but it's useful to have this.
My problem is the 2-cost. I mean, at 1 cost, maybe he's too good, but at 2 cost, I'm not really tempted.
Oh, at 1 cost, he's way too good, because then you're paying 1 to take 1 from your opponent and have a character for 2 turns.
Who is a character who only has 1 strength and a dash.
But still, it's essentially, it's almost as if you haven't paid for him, because you're taking 1 from your opponent.
You've paid for him by playing the card.
He's costed you the conflict card.
He's cost you a conflict card.
But I think at 1, he's way too good.
I'm just not tempted at 2. because you have a limited amount of slots in your conflict deck. On top of that, you have a limited amount of slots for characters in your conflict deck, and there's some strong characters in most of the factions in the conflict decks, just out of the core.
I don't agree with that though, because no faction out of the core has 3 characters in their conflict deck. So
No, but
at this point of the game,
my point being, as the card pool gets bigger, I'm really unconvinced about this.
yeah.
And even with the card pool at the size it is, I mean, there's such good events and attachments in the core. I might just say, I don't even have space for this guy. I'm only taking 5-6 slots of characters and just using the ones that came in the core.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that...
I don't think it's a bad card. I just don't know if it's good enough to get into the conflict deck.
Okay, I actually, it's interesting given the theme that the crab are the ones defending the wall. I actually think he's best with the crab because
he can get buffed.
Then with the stronghold, he's actually a 2. He's also something that you can sacrifice.
Yeah.
I think there's a place there with the crab.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the crab are the I'll say that with a caveat. There's a place for him with the crab right now, assuming the crab didn't get another conflict deck character in this pack. Because the crab are the clan that wants to play the most out of their conflict deck.
Because you want the holdings.
You want holdings, which means you have to have a high number of characters in your conflict deck to have someone who's capable of defending. But the crab will get more characters for their conflict deck over the course of the game, and my assumption is they're going to be more synergistic than he is. And probably costed a little bit better for their ability to defend.
Yeah.
He's also not helping the crab with political, which is where they need the help.
He has a dash there, that's true.
Maybe he goes in the crab for like a very small window until they get more cards, but apart from that, like, what clan is this guy making the cut?
I don't know.
Like, it's an interesting
I want to
card.
I want to play with it before I say that, I think. Because I don't know. I think once I use it, I'll have a better idea. I think it's... I don't know. I do think it's best with the crab, but... yeah, I don't know. Probably not. I don't really see playing it with Unicorn.
He's too expensive for Lion. And you're never going to draw him anyway because you're dialing 1 each time.
Yeah, Lion is, I don't think, the way you want to go.
Crane, you need to be putting all the political events in. There's not space for that. Scorpion, maybe?
Scorpion?
Scorpion.
It's like another trick, kind of.
It's another trick, but you also want to fill your deck with the political events. And is there space for this guy if you're doing that?
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is just like how tight that conflict deck space has already become. And
like something has to be good to get in there.
And I wouldn't even say that this isn't good. I just think maybe it's kind of on the border, I would say.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I do like it. I want to try it.
I'm a little less convinced, but yeah, it could be good.
Yeah. I don't want to completely write it off yet. Yeah.
Okay, and then we've got the last neutral card from this pack, and that is Finger of Jade. It is a 1-cost attachment, neutral, +0 military, +0 political, item, and Jade.
I'm a little skeptical when I see 2 zeros, but let's see what it does.
Attached to a character you control, as one would do with an attachment.
Yeah, nothing new there. And then it has an interrupt. When the effects of a card ability that targets attached character would initiate, sacrifice this attachment, cancel those effects.
I like this, and I like this a lot for Crab, actually.
Which is interesting because they have the Jade Tetsubo as well, so they're using Jade.
Oh, well, that's consistent with their narrative. Like, that's consistent with the fiction that's been published. But a card like this makes the Jade Tetsubo actually playable because you put this on, you put the Jade Tetsubo on. Now you know if someone plays Let Go. Oh, I'll just do this.
No, you're mixed up again because it's targets attached character.
Attached character. It's strong against Scorpion. It's really strong against Scorpion.
Yeah.
It's really strong against the political events. It's strong against Assassination, although I don't think you're playing this on your chuds.
Yeah, I would say not Assassination. I do agree with the political events. I think Outwit and For Shame. I think this is good against For Shame because that targets the particular character.
It's the kind of card that Dragon's gonna want. It's just another attachment.
I didn't think of that. That's a good point. Like, it's literally just another attachment option for your Dragon deck.
And it's protecting your big character more.
No, that's a really good point. I think this. And then the problem with it in Dragon is their attachments are already so good that it's.
I think that you just take as many attachments as you can.
You do still want those like some zero cost events. I don't know. I think it has a place there, but it's not like. I don't think it's a sure thing.
What clan isn't taking this?
I don't see Unicorn taking this, no. Unicorn
Lion maybe not.
They've got some like
they have some bigger characters.
Yeah. The problem I mean Unicorn's a whole other video. I won't get into that now, but
I think this is good for Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix, you have like Phoenix has the most well, not the most, but they have like I feel like really good 4-cost characters.
And you don't want stuff happening to them.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's really good for Phoenix because you really don't want their glory is so high. You don't want card effects happening to them that dishonor them or
like For Shame, yeah.
Or even at their cost, you don't want their text box getting blanked or something. So I think this is the best neutral card of the pack. I don't think it's like amazing, but I think it is definitely slotting into decks.
Which that's about what you want out of a card. Like when you're cracking a pack, you don't really want to see some card that's just an automatic include.
Yeah,
unless that was a card for a clan that's much weaker.
Because there's some of those in the core, and once you reach a certain amount of those, the deck's just making itself. So.
Yeah, and the other thing is like, yeah, then it's if you have that, then it's writing off some other cards, and it's I don't know. You want it to kind of be right on the fringe like that, I think, but unless it is for a weaker clan that you feel needs buffed more, I don't know. You want it to be good enough that you can take it and play with it for sure.
Which I think this is.
Yeah, I agree.
I think there's the strongest argument to be made that this can make the cut into decks. Of the 4.
The 2 conflict cards, I think this and the Goblin Sneak. The Goblin Sneak did have the Shadowlands trait, which I expect that to be expanded upon.
It could become better.
Yeah, I expect a.
I mean, Jade could also become better. We've seen that trait a couple times now. So
that's true. Like search your top 10 cards of your deck for a Jade card or something. Maybe I don't know. There's something that could be done there.
Every character with Jade gets +1 military or something.
Yeah, there could be some kind of good synergies somewhere down the road. Yeah, I think Shadowlands as well. There's something that potentially could happen there, but yeah, I mean nothing overwhelming there.
Some were underwhelming.
Yeah, I think the first one particularly.
Even the second one. The second one was like iffy. The first one was just bad.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think it was a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fire province.
And it's interesting that they picked Fire and Void as the provinces to put in the first pack, because I would not have picked those 2 as the ones needing help.
I wouldn't have picked Void. Fire I can like kind of see. Earth Yeah,
Earth
Earth would have been interesting because Earth, you have the two ones that like
Earth
the
and
entrenched.
Water.
Yeah.
Earth and Water were the ones I would have gone for.
Yeah. And then the last one would be Air. Air definitely didn't need Air. Air is strong because you have the Manicured Gardens and the Fertile Fields. Yeah, I think Earth and Water. Earth ones definitely get played because
they really help certain clans. But there are other clans that are more versatile that you just don't really want to take the Earth province.
Yeah, like Dragon, it's like
you don't
because
need it.
you're pretty well 50-50.
Yeah,
it's like, am I gonna take the ancestral land?
No, you're gonna double up on a void
or
double up on a
fire maybe because theirs
yeah.
is a fire and you might want to take one of the other fires or something. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. There's 4 cards you could potentially be expanding your card pool with. What did you think? Did you like them? Did you dislike them?
Yeah, I'd be curious for your thoughts on the Goblin Sneak, as we had a little bit of a different opinion, but I'm still not sold on it. But yeah, curious what you guys think. So let us know in the comments below. And we'll be back soon to unbox the clan-specific cards and share our thoughts. Yeah, we'll see what else is in the Tears of Amaterasu. Until then.